What most people want in life is for people to understand them. As much as people say you shouldn't care about what other people think, realistically, everyone cares about what other people think. Everyone tries to fit in somewhere. There's a reason why people follow fashion trends. You don't act the same around your friends as you do in a professional setting, at your job, or around your parents or teachers, or even on your first dates. But that's because you care about what other people think. And there's really nothing wrong with that. Even the people that say they don't care about what other people think, or they don't care about anything at all, deep down, they do care. I don't believe there's anyone in this world that truly doesn't care about what other people think. And I believe what most people want is for people to understand them. And what it takes is for you to be able to communicate how you feel. If there's something that's bothering you, you have to be able to communicate those thoughts that you have, concerns that you have with the people that you care about. And a lot of times, people don't really communicate how they feel because they feel like the other person won't understand them. Because to them, it might not be something that they worry about. It might not even be something that bothers them. But for you, it's important to you. It's something that bothers you. It's something that you worry about. It's something that you're uncomfortable with. And sometimes, depending on what it is that actually is bothering you, you may or may not talk to them about it because you feel like they might not understand you, or they might not understand that it may be nothing to them but it means something to you. Or sometimes you might feel like if you bring it up, they'll get annoyed with you, or they might get mad at you, rather than understanding where you're coming from, why you think the way you do, why it actually bothers you. And a lot of times I feel like most people just end up distancing themselves away from that person, or just distancing themselves away from people that they care about, because they feel like they have nobody to talk to about their problems, about what's bothering them. And sometimes the people that you're close with, because you don't talk about how you feel, and your relationship with that person ends up falling apart. And I believe a lot of that has to do with you not knowing whether you should talk about it or not, whether you should communicate to the other person or not. Because maybe sometimes you feel like by communicating how you feel, it might push them away because they might not understand you. And what other people fail to realize is what's easy for you might be the most difficult thing for someone else. It might be a mental battle for them. But for you, it's not even something you worry about. It's not even something that crosses your mind. Or you might think it's nothing. But you gotta think about some of the things that you stress about, things that bother you. It might be the biggest thing in the world for you, but for someone else, it might not be something that they worry about. It might be nothing to them. What's hard for you might be easy for someone else. And I believe the world would be a much better place if everyone just understood each other instead of judging each other. Sometimes you just gotta be able to see things in other people's perspective. Put yourself in their shoes. But the problem is, everyone only cares about their problems and how they think, what they think is right. And it's really about understanding someone and respecting their boundaries. And you might think you don't care about what other people think, but you do. And maybe you don't care about what other people think at all. All you care about is how you think. But look at your relationships. Look at your friendships. Everyone's just slowly distancing themselves away from you, and you don't even realize it, or you don't even know why. I've seen people in relationships where they only cared about themselves. They only cared about what they want. They never really cared about what their significant other or what their girlfriend wanted. And when their significant other talks to them about their problems or what's bothering them in the relationship, instead of you trying to understand them, you talk over them or you argue with them. And the relationship just ends up not working out. And their girlfriend just ends up slowly distancing themselves away from him. And eventually she leaves and finds another guy. And he doesn't even know why that happened, why it didn't work out. But it's like, did you really take the time to understand where she was coming from? What bothered her? Instead of always arguing and yelling at each other, Did y'all take the time to understand each other? Because to build a true connection, to really build a bond with each other and keep the relationship going, you have to understand each other. Because if you don't, your significant other will end up resenting you. And you'll have that feeling where she feels distant, but you don't know what to do. And sometimes you think that you did nothing wrong, that you're always right. But sometimes it's not really even about being right. It's about being able to understand that person, being able to work something out, come to a compromise. You have to meet in the middle somewhere. Sometimes you can't get everything that you want, but you have to be able to meet in the middle, work something out. Sometimes you really do have to think about, well, what does the other person want? And can you fulfill that? Especially in a relationship. A relationship is really about being able to fulfill each other, being able to make each other happy. So you have to be able to work things out. And a lot of times, things make sense in your head, but you wonder why the other person doesn't get it. But they can't read your mind unless you communicate it to them. And it's not just about communicating. You have to be able to say the right words to truly describe how you feel, and you have to say it in the right tone. You can't sound like you're better than them, because no one wants to talk to someone that's belittling them or talking to them in a condescending way. And sometimes you have to be patient, because you have to understand that the other person is hearing your thoughts for the first time. So you have to explain it right. It might make sense in your head, but that's because you're you and you understand how you think. Other people might not be able to understand that. And being able to communicate effectively does take practice. And it does take knowing what words best describe how you feel. And say it in a way that the other person can understand. But also you have to watch how they react to how you feel. Because not everyone is meant to be in your life. You know, if someone really cares about you, they will take the time to understand you. And they won't pressure you or belittle you or talk down on you. They will actually care about you. And those who react in a negative way, where they don't want to understand you at all, or they think your problems are nothing, they shouldn't be a problem, and all they care about is their point of view, rather than being able to see things from your point of view, then those people are not meant to be in your life. You don't even want those people around you. You only want people around you that are supportive and take the time to understand you. Because if you don't really understand each other, if you don't really talk about how you feel about certain things or how you feel when you're with them, you can't truly build a deep connection, because then you don't really know them. You only know them on the surface level. So it's very important to really just surround yourself with people that care and people that you care about. And hopefully y'all can work something out, make things work. There's going to be things that they're uncomfortable about. There's going to be things that you're uncomfortable about. There's going to be problems that they have and problems that you have. But you have to be able to work something out without stepping over each other's boundaries and understanding each other's feelings. And I truly believe the world would be a much better place if everyone just took the time to try to understand where the other person is coming from. Just understand each other, because I feel like the world is so divided because people are so caught up with their point of view, with their perspective, and they're living in their own little world. And they think just because they're living a good life or because they made it, they just forget about everyone else. They don't care about the fact that other people are struggling. And I don't think that's right. You know, just like how you have something that you struggle with, just like how you failed at certain things, other people may have succeeded. So it's about having empathy for others and knowing that no matter what, you're not better than anybody else. You're not better than the other person, because life is like a wheel. One day you're on top and the next day you could be on the bottom, and a person that you're looking down on, and he could end up being your boss. Life can change in an instant. Happiness can go away in an instant. So when you're doing good, don't step on people that are already down, that are already doing bad. Life can flip really quick. Things that you don't expect. Problems that you didn't think you would have. And for those of you that are struggling in life right now, the most important thing is to never give up, because as long as you don't give up, you stand a chance. The moment that you give up is when you truly fail, because you didn't even give yourself a chance at all at winning. Life is hard no matter who you are, but you just have to keep going. A lot of times it's difficult and overwhelming, but you have to take things one step at a time, one day at a time, and when the next day comes, you'll figure it out.